Why do some retirees live like royalty while others struggle despite decades of working? It's not luck, it's the assets they buy or don't buy. You've likely seen the contrast: the retiree who travels the world and never checks their bank balance versus the one who worked for 40 years and is now counting pennies just to pay the electric bill. Both may have earned similar salaries during their careers, but their destinies were forged by the choices they made with their surplus cash. Today, I'm revealing 8 assets rich retirees avoid, and the ones poor retirees chase, often ruining their retirement. Number 7 will shock you because it's something almost everyone in the middle class considers a status symbol. If you want to master the art of wealth building, you need to understand that what you own can either be an anchor or a sail. Retirement success isn't just about how much income you generated during your peak earning years, it's about smart asset choices. Many people make subtle but costly mistakes with what they buy or invest in, thinking they are building a nest egg when they are actually digging a hole. You see, the difference between a wealthy retirement and a struggling one often comes down to the leakage of capital into things that lose value. Studies show over 60% of retirees struggle financially because they bought the wrong assets during their lifetime. They focused on looking rich rather than actually being rich. They prioritize the immediate dopamine hit of a purchase over the long-term peace of mind that comes from true financial freedom. Let's dive into the 8 specific things that separate the wealthy from the weary. The first asset on our list is luxury cars and flashy vehicles. Poor retirees often buy these for status, wanting to signal to the world that they have made it. They spend $80, $90, or $100,000 on a brand new German sedan or a massive SUV the moment they get a promotion or a bonus. Rich retirees, however, avoid these depreciation traps like the plague. They understand that a car is a utility, not an investment. The second you drive a luxury vehicle off the lot, it loses 20% of its value. By the time you reach retirement, that status symbol is worth a fraction of what you paid, while the maintenance and insurance costs have drained your liquid cash. A practical alternative is to focus on reliable, low-maintenance cars that hold their value better, like a high-end Toyota or Honda. Or better yet, take that $100,000 difference and invest it into a compounding index fund. Over 20 years, that single car choice could be the difference between $1 million and zero. Next up is high-interest debt-financed assets, specifically things like jewelry, designer bags, or high-end furniture bought on credit. Poor retirees often treat these items as investments, telling themselves that a designer handbag will hold its value or that a diamond ring is a store of wealth. In reality, these are consumption items. Rich retirees see them for exactly what they are: expenses. When you buy these items using high-interest debt, like credit cards or buy now, pay later schemes, you are essentially paying double for an item that is already losing value. The wealthy prioritize cash flow. They only buy luxury goods when their passive income, not their salary, can comfortably cover the cost. If you can't buy it twice with cash, you can't afford it. Instead of buying a bag that loses half its value in a year, the wealthy buy assets that pay them monthly, allowing them to eventually buy the bag using free money generated by their investments. The third asset involves speculative stocks and fads. This is where many people lose their shirts right before they cross the finish line. Poor retirees often chase the hype, pouring their life savings into the latest meme stock, a random cryptocurrency they heard about on social media, or a can't-miss penny stock. They're looking for a shortcut to wealth building. Rich retirees, conversely, avoid the noise. They invest in stable, dividend-paying stocks or diversified low-cost funds. They understand that retirement planning is a marathon, not a sprint. While the poor retiree is checking their phone every 5 minutes to see if their speculative coin has crashed, the rich retiree is playing golf, knowing their diversified portfolio is slowly but surely growing. The tip here is simple: if everyone is talking about an investment on the news, you're probably too late. Stick to the fundamentals of the market and let time do the heavy lifting. Fourth, we have expensive homes beyond one's means. This is a classic trap. Poor retirees often over-leverage themselves with massive mortgages on dream homes that are far larger than they actually need. They see their home as their primary investment, but a home you live in is often a liability because it takes money out of your pocket every month in the form of taxes, insurance, and repairs. Rich retirees prioritize cash flow and tax efficiency. They are much more likely to downsize or live in a modest home home while putting their excess capital into rental properties or real estate investment trusts that actually provide a monthly check. They don't want their net worth locked in four walls and a roof that they can't eat. They want their money working for them, not sitting in a guest bedroom they only use once a year when family visits. Fifth on the list is timeshares and vacation homes. This is one of the most common mistakes made by the middle class. Poor retirees often overpay for the emotional satisfaction of owning a piece of a resort. They get caught up in the high-pressure sales pitch and end up with a lifetime of maintenance fees for a property they can only use 1 week a year. These are notoriously difficult to sell and almost never appreciate in value. Rich retirees prefer to stay flexible. They understand that it is much cheaper and more enjoyable to simply rent a high-end villa or stay at a luxury hotel whenever they want to travel. By renting, they keep their capital liquid and avoid the headaches of property management and rising HOA fees. They would rather own the stock of the hotel chain than a single room in one of its buildings. The sixth asset rich retirees never touch is collectibles such as art, rare coins, or vintage toys as a primary investment strategy. Poor retirees often think these are great investments because they saw a story about a painting selling for millions. However, collectibles are highly illiquid and incredibly risky. You only make money if you can find a greater fool to buy it from you at a higher price later, and the transaction fees are often astronomical. Rich retirees might buy art or rare items, but they do it out of passion, only after they have already secured their financial future. They treat it as a hobby, not a retirement plan. They know that you can't pay for a medical emergency with a rare stamp collection if nobody is buying that day. If you want true security, stick to assets with a deep liquid market. Now for number 7, the one that shocks most people: luxury gadgets and the latest tech every single year. In our modern world, we are conditioned to believe we need the newest smartphone, the latest smartwatch, and the most advanced laptop the moment they are released. Poor retirees fall into this cycle of constant upgrades, watching thousands of dollars disappear every year into silicone and glass that will be obsolete in 24 months. Rich retirees keep long-term value in mind. They buy high-quality essentials and use them until they no longer function or no longer serve their purpose. They realize that the difference between the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 15 isn't worth the $1,200 that could have been invested in a Roth IRA. Over a decade, the habit of skipping unnecessary tech upgrades can save a person $50,000 to $60,000, money that, when invested, could fund several years of a comfortable retirement. The 8th asset is overpriced insurance or unnecessary financial products. High-commission salespeople sell nearly every policy and sophisticated financial product to poor retirees. They are sold whole-life plans with low returns or complex annuities with hidden fees that lock up their money for decades. Wealthy retirees plan. They recognize which coverage protects wealth and which is insurance company profit. They use simple term life insurance while working and self-insuring with a large net worth as they age. They know that a large cash reserve and varied portfolio are the best insurance. To recap, we discussed expensive cars, high-interest loans, speculative fads, large mansions, timeshares, collectibles, superfluous electronics, and complex insurance products. It's a little list, but the point is that it's not what you buy, but whether the asset works for you. Building wealth in retirement requires investing in items that appreciate in value. Rich retirees prefer income-generating assets, whereas poor retirees chose upkeep assets. Reflect on your spending habits. Which am I buying today? Which are secretly stealing my retirement dreams? Every dollar you redirect from a deteriorating asset to a productive one builds your future freedom. Which asset surprised you most? Do you plan to stop buying anything today to safeguard your future? Comment below. I read every one. If this was useful, share it with a retirement-minded friend or family member. Help everyone live abundantly.